Welcome to Pitch This Postscript, a new type of episode we're going to be experimenting here with your favorite comedy people, I hope. I am Justin. What?
Come on.
Start over.
I think that was perfect. I think we
You've
killed
got
it
to
in one.
start over.
I think that was absolutely perfect, and we don't have to do anything.
Welcome to Pitch This.
A comedy show where we reimagine your favorite IPs with a new, completely unhinged twist.
Like, what if The Crow was a nature doc?
Or what if nobody loved Raymond?
We've got a spec script, talented guests, and absolutely zero shame to hold us back.
Welcome to Pitch This Postscript, a new type of episode here at Pitch This Podcast. We're going to be kind of experimenting with this week where we're not doing a script. We're just going to be talking about all the things that we don't have time to talk about going on in the entertainment industry between both myself, Justin, and my co-host, Adam, who is here as well, and our producer, Ty B. How you guys doing this week?
Me.
Killing it. We're rocking it.
You're killing it. Hell yeah, man.
Hell
That
yeah,
was
brother.
so unenthused.
I just got off my skateboard.
Oh,
Killing
that's
it,
cool.
Rocking
What was
it,
the coolest
crushing
trick
it.
that you did?
Getting off of it because I don't like to be in precarious situations at all.
Do you just stand on it briefly and get off?
Yeah. I stay. I take like a deep breath. I get on it, and I'm like, "Fuck that!" And I get off.
Yeah.
So
That's like
actually-
your cold plunge.
Yes.
You're like just microdosing danger, just briefly.
When everyone's doing like those cold plunges like for different causes and stuff, I get on my skateboard and I Venmo someone $100.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for
Great.
my turn on that.
Justin, I feel like we don't have you at full strength this week because we're recording this a little bit after a Jets win, which just it doesn't feel like we have the true authentic Justin or any Jets fan for that matter.
What do you mean by that? Are
It
you
just
saying
feels like there's a false sense of
No.
security that you have following. I don't want to say a fluke win.
are you saying that I'm only my true authentic self when I'm at my lowest? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to say right now? For me to be funny and for me to be me, I need to be miserable and sad. Is that what you're saying right now? No, go ahead. Say it out loud. Say it with your whole chest.
I'm trying to talk. Even when you're at your lowest, you're still a family guy.
So anyway, we're
Seinfeld only.
this is a new type of episode. We're just going to be discussing things that we don't have time to talk about on our normal paid programming television hour.
Sure.
And today we're going to be talking about a specific subject. But first, Adam said before this that he was very angry about something and he wanted to get something off his chest. And I'm actually surprised he hasn't just like cannonballed into it. So what happened to you that is so important that you needed to remind me that I'm not myself because the Jets won this week first?
I didn't want to interrupt you with my rant because I
Sure.
was trying to be kind. I just thought I'd throw some little backhanded compliments before we got into it. I just needed to talk about something because I go a lot on TikTok now. I'll get like these videos for things, and a lot of the comments are like, "I have no one to send this to." Like it's something that like just you yourself like find an interest in because it's so weird or so niche, and it's like I don't know who to send this to. Maybe this one guy from high school who I don't talk to anymore, but like that's gonna be weird to send it to them. Anyway, I don't even think that's relevant. My point is, there's just this thing that keeps happening, and I forget about it, and then this happens again. And it comes up and I'm like still mad about it. All I gotta say is I am so excited for the Wicked movie to come out. Because I'm so excited for the Wicked movie to come out.
Because of the wonderful things she does.
Because
Come
I'm
on.
so excited to never fucking hear about how the Wicked movie's coming out ever again.
Oh, buddy,
Because
we're
I
so
feel
fucked.
like I've been hearing about this fucking movie coming out for like ever. I feel like I was born and the doctor was like, "Oh my, I'm saying congrats, it's a boy." And then he turns to his nurse. He's like, "When do we tell him about the Wicked movie coming out?" Like I genuinely
when
feel
we tell
like
him about the other baby in the hospital that's green right now.
it's just one of those movies where it's like I've seen trailers for it. I was like, that didn't come out yet. I feel like we've been talking about this fucking movie for like at least 5 years. At least 5 years. Like the fact, like you tell me the
Extremely
whole
Bach
thing
behavior.
with Ariana. What?
That was a wicked joke. I thought this was extremely Bach behavior.
Oh, okay, great, thank you. I just can't believe that the fucking like Ariana Grande, Ethan Slater fucking thing that happened from this movie that hasn't even come out yet. Like the fact that Ariana Grande yucked SpongeBob in a movie that had like that was like what 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and it still hasn't come out yet.
It wasn't that long ago.
So
it feels like forever for me.
I understand.
It feels like forever.
This thing actually happened about almost 5 years ago now. You might have heard about it, called COVID-19, and it took over most of the world and also the filming industry. So when you're thinking about the fact that something that was announced before COVID that still hasn't come out, there's a few reasons for that. Number one, COVID. Number two, Ariana Grande changed her entire face, and they had to refilm half the movie.
Is that true?
It is true. Oh. Yes. I don't know about half. I might be exaggerating, but they very much so. After they came back from their COVID hiatus, she had changed her face so much that like it didn't match any of the shots that they had taken already, so they had to refilm a lot of things for it. Now I don't know how much that actually was, how much they had filmed, whatever, but I do know it was talked about a lot in the film production community because of just like, you know, all the people that worked on all those shots that now had to be redone completely because someone decided to change their look, which is like, you know, I know we all did a lot of crazy things during COVID, and I don't even say crazy things, just things to, you know, change ourselves to make ourselves feel like we're doing something different, yada, yada, yada. But it's also something that kind of really bugs me. That happens on a lot of film shoots I've worked on. Stories
Someone
from
changes
people.
Their face?
Yeah, well, not necessarily their face, but like their hair, you know, things like in the middle of a production changes their look. I had a friend of mine who was working on a national commercial. It was like a 3-day shoot, and this woman who was cast as the lead she was on set Monday, and then she had a day off, and then she was back on Wednesday and Thursday. And when she came back on Thursday, she had redone her entire hair, like completely different. And she wasn't wearing a wig or anything the first time, so it's not like they could just cover that up. They had to reshoot the first day of stuff that they had with her if they wanted her to still be in it, and they almost just kicked her off the project. I'm surprised they just didn't.
So I find that to be like an admirable like hill to stand on. You know, I think that is a good moral high ground to have. Justin, did you tell me did you always maintain this strong stance for your life as an actor?
No, back in college, I made a real bad mistake.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was asking.
And you know, to be fair, we had not started anything yet. But as does happen a lot of times, and I just want to say I'm being a really big person for admitting this. I just want to say I'm pretty proud of myself. And
really big, huge.
I'm like really brave. It's probably because the Jets win this past week. I'm just like feeling more confident in myself.
That's unfortunate.
I was going through a crisis, and about a week before school started, I dyed my hair blonde. And if I can find a picture of this, I'll send it to you guys. You can put it up in the video of the version of this if you'd like to.
The picture.
It looked awful. It was like a copper blonde. And the costume,
I assume you didn't know about toner at the time.
What's that?
Hardly know
her.
Toner is the purple stuff.
That you put in the
yes. Anymore.
Someone told me about that afterwards once it already started looking really bad and yellow. And
some girl who had a tiny crush on you was like, "Hey, just so you know, I can help you with this.
No. I can fix him."
God, I hope not. I was in the middle of a long-term relationship at that point, and I was already like going through a bunch of stuff, and like it was ridiculous. It was a bad.
You bleached your hair during a relationship out of crisis mode?
Well, that relationship ended, if that tells you anything. So
you didn't have to say that part.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, regardless, I made a bad mistake in crisis mode, and when I came back for costuming, they were like, "We cast you last semester and you weren't blonde, and now you're blonde." And I said, "That is correct." And they said, "Okay, so the show's in a month. By then, get
Your
this
hair
the
needs
fuck
to be
off your
brown
head."
again.
And I said, "Sounds good. Sounds really good, actually. Sounds really good."
So you're the
Okay.
Glinda of this scenario.
So yes, and then I fucked SpongeBob.
You're yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Anyway, all right. Is
That's
that
all I
the end
gotta
of your?
say.
You just want the Wicked
That's
movie to come out? Hey, I hate to break
yes.
it to you. Isn't this thing supposed to be in like 2 parts?
You gotta be fucking no fucking way. No fucking way. No
I don't
fucking
know.
way.
I don't.
I can't do this anymore, man. I can't do this. No fucking way. You're fucking no way. Tybee,
I don't
please.
know if that's still true or not, but I think at
Tybee,
one
please
point
give
they
me good
said it was
news.
going to be released as 2 parts.
I can't do this, man. No.
Yes. Yes.
No. I can't. I can't do this, man. It's not
Oh
fair.
my god.
I was gonna say, like, I know it's gonna come back for the fucking Oscars. They're probably gonna fucking perform it, but this is worse. Imagine this like becomes so big they have to make a second Broadway show
Wait a minute.
for the film, and it's next door to the already existing Broadway show.
Wicked 2.
What else?
Too
What
wicked
else?
too wicked.
Too wicked. Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift. Oz Drift.
So
No, go
have
ahead. You
guys
work this
seen
out.
Wicked?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen Wicked.
I see Wicked.
Yeah, I guess you could say I've seen Wicked.
I guess you could say I'm pretty wicked.
That's what Adam says when he gets on his skateboard for a second and then
I'm pretty
steps off.
wicked. Yeah.
Turns
Yeah.
into
And then I
a
get
star
right
rider.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty wicked. So is it just Act 1 is the first movie? That doesn't make any
don't
fucking
know.
sense.
Because
You
here's
can't
the
do this
thing,
to me.
Tabby.
Fucking-
In each of the trailers that have come out so far, they have already shown off the like titular riff that happens
Yeah.
in like the
There's, like,
final
different
song
versions. They put out different versions of the riff. Like, I don't know which riff is
the
gonna be.
show.
I feel like it's like you have to go see the movie multiple times to get different riffs, to collect the riffs.
That'd be
This is the
funny though,
worst.
actually. Like, oh, I got this one and I got this one. Yeah, it's like 5 different riffs.
Right.
But so they're already advertising that. They haven't said where at what point they're going to be ending it. They have said there's some new songs to fill
Right.
in the space. And there is technically a book that they're basing this off of. But here's the thing. If you wanted to make a 2-part Wicked spooktacular, like, then just base it off the books and don't do the musical version. Because now
here's what John Chu said.
I can't do this.
Or maybe Stephen Schwartz. Oh, Stephen Schwartz said this. So, okay, the composer. He says, "We found it very difficult to get past Defying Gravity without a break. That song is written specifically to bring a curtain down, and whatever scene to follow it without a break just seemed hugely anticlimactic." Because they come back with Thank Goodness, I think, right? Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry.
See, you made a mistake, my brother, because I know about Wicked. I saw the original cast on Broadway.
I was there.
I was the Wicked.
Don't quote the text to me, witch.
I was there when it was written.
Yeah, it seems like they had to split it because Defying Gravity is too big of a barn burner.
Can you imagine what the fuck? You know what? That's fucked up because that's like if we got to one day more in the Les Mis movie and they're like, and come back, I don't know, a year from now. What the fuck?
You know what did need that,
you
though?
put a
But there is a time jump in Wicked after Defying Gravity. Like there is between the acts, there is a time jump.
Sure, but isn't there also a time jump in Les Mis?
I don't remember. I don't know.
I'm saying also, like, let's put it this way. They're saying like, oh, it feels like a curtain needs to be put down. Yeah, sure, but not a curtain for a fucking year. Like, that's ridiculous. I think
it's fine.
It's a clever way of saying we want more money. We just can't stop making money.
Can't
want
stop
your
doing
money.
it.
So
that's
pretty wicked.
So can we move on from Wicked?
I have nothing else to say. This just got worse.
I also don't want to talk about this anymore.
I thought this was going to be healing, and I learned something that made it 10 times worse.
I think that's actually a good
I've been
turning
changed
point.
for worse.
I have been changed for worse.
Seems like you
But
love
like,
Wicked.
Yeah, I think you
It
It
actually really
seems
fucking
like
love
you
Wicked.
love Wicked.
Are you the Wicked?
I feel like I don't even watch that much TV, and it still just like gets in my face. It somehow gets to me every time,
It's been
and I can't
being
stop
served.
it.
I understand. I've been served so much like pre-Wicked content. Not enough of it has
Can you get
Jonathan
pregnant from
Bailey in it.
pre-Wicked content?
Now we can move on. That's enough of that.
So I think this is a good transition point. Our
Man.
main subject of the day, our question of the day, is based around kind of, I don't know if you could say it's that current anymore, but some current events. We are talking about, can you judge a show or even a movie series that has been canceled before its intended end? And our spawn point for this was the cancellation of Star Wars: The Acolyte on Disney Plus, a show that did not receive the best reception, I guess is good. I mean, but it's also hard to fucking say that, because when's the last time a Star Wars project like had a good reception from fans? I don't know.
I mean, that's also the thing, is like you get a set of movies that come out, everyone hates on it. It becomes like a thing that everyone loves to hate. Another set comes out, and they're like, actually, that other thing was actually amazing, and we loved it. And this new thing sucks, though. This new thing sucks. But the old new thing's good. New thing bad. Old new thing good. So.
Well, I think before we broaden this topic and talk about a bunch of other like shows and stuff that were canceled too soon, ones that went on too long, ones that actually got a revival, I want to talk about Star Wars for a second, because we certainly don't do it enough in our regular show. With the cancellation of The Acolyte, I think it's the latest in a series of projects that have been thrown to the wind. And it seems that it was canceled because of its poor reception. However, if we look at Andor, a series that came out a couple years ago, one season so far, a second one on the way. That show, I believe, was slated to have like 4 seasons. They wanted to have one for every year leading up to the events of Rogue One, and that show was the most popular like Star Wars show amongst fans, amongst like a lot of people, to come out to date. They're going to tell you, the woke left is going to tell you that it was the Mandalorian. It was not the Mandalorian. All right, it was Andor. But even that show, which had an incredible response, fans loved it, has now been cut down to 2 seasons, in which the second season is reported that they're going to cover like 3 years of time, rather than cover that over a span of a show. So what? I guess my question is for you guys, like, what is the balance that we have to strike here? Like, at what point is it a good show that actually gets to tell its full intended story, rather than like this maybe not as strong show that could have come around, but will also never get the chance, just because it got its wings clipped before it could really maybe take off? Can we really judge a book so much by its cover before it's even gotten through its entire season? So what do you guys think about that?
Adam, you have strong feelings you want to start with?
Yeah, I mean, I felt a way about this for a while, because it really does, for me, comes down to a lot. I mean, the cancellation is sometimes a reaction, or sometimes an overreaction to fan reception to something that has not even been followed through yet. We get so many, and it's people's jobs to put out reviews, to react to things as soon as it comes out. Um, so we get a lot of content about shows if they're releasing weekly episodes, because we also have now shows that come out either all at once for binge watching, or weekly. There's different there's different options. So I think for me, the main issue comes from people who are judging these shows way too early. An episode in, 2 episodes, 3 episodes in. For me, I've felt that if the quality is retained in certain aspects, like maybe not so much the plot, if as long as there are not explicit plot holes or things that are just completely nonsensical, and I might be wrong in that sense too, but as long as that you're retaining like the quality of a actual story, you can't just say this story's bad until you have been told the whole story. I don't feel that people will read a book and stop halfway through and say this book is bad. I mean, I know people say like this is a boring book, like I can't keep up with this book, but I feel like a lot of the judgments that are made are typically about the overall story or the point of it or a character's purpose. And sometimes shows will choose that a character does not seem to have a purpose. It's not apparent that they have a purpose until further into that season or even further or even a future season, which I mean, I think people today when they're coming up with these stories or um, just the driving plot, they need to be aware of how people are going to consume the media and stick around for it. That's also like an objective truth. You have to be
Well, that
realistic.
that to me is a bit of a production. That's a producer choice as well. I think one of the
It's a
I think one of the
studio
smartest
choice.
studio
Yeah.
choice. Sorry, thank you. And I think one of like the smartest layouts that I've seen in the past couple of years was Stranger Things season 4, where we had this kind of half binge, half like 2-part release kind of deal, because it had been binge worthy for the entire time before. But people were watching it, and then it was a lot of the hype was over within like a week or two because people were getting through it and then done.
Right.
Um, Whereas season 4 had this, had a dramatic cutoff for part 1 of the drop. People were talking about it for a whole month, waiting for that the final couple episodes to release. And then once they did, we're talking about it for a couple weeks afterwards as well. And I thought that was a really good way to keep people interested in the series personally. But I think that changes from series to series. It's not just like that's the right thing for everything.
I think that when the binge model started, the way that pilots worked completely changed. So what has happened is everybody grew up on in the pilot you get the pilot is sort of like super concentrated show, and then
Mhm.
the rest of it is it's allowed to breathe. Whereas in the binge model, I know that they stopped doing that because they assumed that people were just going to get through 3 or 4 episodes before they made a judgment. And now what's happening, I think, is there's been a readjustment as people got used to the binge model, and now that we've started drip releasing, it's no one knows how long to give a show to judge it. So the impatience factor has become a problem. And I also think that I don't know this because I work mostly in independent film. I don't know what happens here when a story gets released. Like, are they watching for like fan cams on TikTok? Because all I saw about The Acolyte was nothing but just unbridled excitement about how hot Manny Jacinto is. So like, I was like, I guess I have to watch The Acolyte, and it got me to watch The Acolyte because I was like, I guess.
Which also
I guess I have to
just
watch Jason Mendoza from Jacksonville fucking wield a lightsaber because I saw like a clip of him doing fight work behind the scenes, and I was like, incredible.
He's like, "Go Jags." I think
Truly.
like small like thing just about that was that I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but they announced the show's cancellation on his birthday,
Oh
They
man.
did. Yeah.
which is
rough.
like, damn, man. I'm so sorry.
And I think it depends on the franchise. I think it depends on because people have like I think you're right. The old new versus new pattern seems to be so strong and it's annoying. That's really a bummer about Andor because it's so good, just so unbelievably fucking good.
And that was also like a slow
drip
one to get
release.
into. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is a little bit of a slow one to get into. They move at a pace. They move
They
at a
did-
consistent pace. Unlike what I think Mandalorian is like, for me, it's too slow. Even though I understand that they're like emulating kind of a Western vibe, it feels a little too slow to me. But I think that the audience's inability to know how soon to bail is actually a product of like the chicken and egg situation is actually it's the timing of release's fault. It's like there's like a mirror problem. There's like a delay happening where like studios are trying to match what it seems like audiences want when audiences are not done catching up to what studios did last. So I think this is not just like a judgment problem or an impatience problem, but a reaction to how media is being presented now, because some things are binge, some things are drip, some things are two part, so like how would anybody have any idea when to judge a book? I know I have friends who read books who like they give it 60 pages and if they don't love it, they're out. And it's like if you read a lot, then like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also think there's something about like, committing to 1,000-page novel that, might be a little bit more of a, that's a commitment more than just like an hour a week of something, So
Sure.
I totally get that. I agree with you too. I think that like now more than ever, things are falling back on the studio to make smarter decisions of how to release this product. And I think we've seen it for a long time that studios are dropping the ball on a lot of like they don't know what they're selling, in other words. Whereas I think things like Andor had a really great publicity thing when before the show came out. They re-released Rogue One in theaters, and with it they showed a 10-minute clip from the show, like a great clip from the show. And I went to go see Rogue One again because it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. And it got me really interested in the show because it was like a proof of concept basically to the audience to be like, isn't it like this looks good, right? Like check it out.
You're Hey
Along with,
Arnold at the beginning of Harriet the Spy, if you
yeah,
will.
yes, exactly. That's exactly what they did. And I
That's
think
what we
that's what the
always
studio
think
said
about.
when they were
Yeah,
gonna like it's like the Hey
That's what I
Arnold thing.
always say.
that's what Iger said.
Well, so okay, so we could back away from Star Wars a little bit now and just talk about things in general. But I also wanted to kind of go to the other side of it, which are shows that I think had a really great foundation that were absolutely canceled without like no further, anything from the studio, just saying, whatever, maybe the viewership wasn't quite there or whatever, but they had their following. They're now revered as, these great pieces of art that were cut too soon. Examples I can talk about are like Firefly, um Freaks and Geeks. I don't know if you guys have seen Freaks and Geeks, things like that. Like, a newer show a comedy that I was really disappointed got cut off was The Mick with Caitlin Olsen a couple of
Forgot
years
about
ago.
that. Yeah.
Got canceled just out of nowhere on like a cliffhanger after the second season and everything too. Um
The
and there was
canceling out
nothing
of nowhere is rough for sure.
for sure. Well, it's definitely if a show doesn't know that they're like that's going to be the last thing that they.
Yeah.
But then again, you listen to guys like, the It's Always Sunny guys and stuff like that talk about like, they never knew if they were going to have another season or anytime, so you're
I feel like the
taking a
craziest
gamble.
one. I feel like the craziest one was Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which then got picked up and saved, basically.
Well, that same thing happened to Lucifer.
Mm.
And Lucifer has like what essentially amounts to like a false ending because they thought they were done and then they got rescued
Wow.
by Netflix. So
Well,
there's like two endings to the show.
there's a whole other subject for that, right? Like fucking Futurama that has like 5 endings now because of how many times
Sure.
it's been canceled and picked back up. Which I'm
Brooklyn
fine with.
Nine-Nine.
Please give me more of robot.
I
You
love
seem like a
alternate endings.
Futurama guy.
What hey, what do you mean by that?
Don't worry about what
You
I mean
seem
by
like a
that.
Jets fan.
You seem like a fucking
All
Futurama
right.
guy.
Is there a show that got canceled that before its time that you would love to see be picked back up?
Oh man, I wish someone had asked me this yesterday so that I could have prepared. Because I'm
Sorry.
sure there is one.
Yeah, think about
I mean,
it.
I would have liked to see more of the Acolyte. I didn't love it, but I was interested in where it was going.
I liked the design of it. I really liked the droid design. I liked everything about it.
Yeah.
Like
Her little
production wise looked great, I
Pip
thought.
guy.
Yeah, the little Pip
That was
droid
adorable.
whatever thing, yeah.
This is a terrible answer, but my answer is what's Encore. Encore on Disney Plus. I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Disney Plus came out, they had several original programming shows.
Oh my god, yes,
and
I
there
do
was
remember
one called
this.
Encore, hosted by Kristen. Or what's her name? Justin
Bell.
Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell, yes, hosted by Kristen Bell, where they go back to like high schools and they'll reunite people who were part of a high school production. This could be like 20, 30 years later or something, or even later than that. And like they'll have them reprise their roles and put on an encore production for their like community. And it's really bad, but it's also like very endearing and very cute.
That's really
It's like all these,
cute.
I mean, pretty much everyone that was in that show in these like small towns like did not continue in that field at all. They just went on and had their regular lives. But then it's just like such a fun time, and like they just have all these like deep conversations. It's so healing. And I think that among other shows probably just didn't happen because of COVID. But that is a show I'd love them to bring back. Not so much about this conversation about like the story and plot. That's just for me. I just want that show back.
Hey, Jeremy, did you relearn your lines for Gaston yet? No, I've got a cocaine problem.
That
That's
has
what
not happened.
I've
yet
never
on the
actually
show.
seen this show, but that's what that sounds like.
I'm
to me.
gonna
It's
assume
just
that
like
they vet the entire community very closely for a Disney production.
I would
Uh,
love
MTV though would probably let that happen.
MTV would
MTV
fucking
would
love
definitely,
TV
or
thing.
MTV
Gum,
too.
gum, 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 gum. Also, and I
Party
love you.
Down,
What?
which they
Party
were
Down?
bringing back. Did they actually bring it back?
What is it?
Party Down? It's
Mm-mm.
like about caterers. It's Adam Scott and Ken Marino, Lizzie Kaplan.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard of this before.
It's
Is it
great.
related to Black Hawk Down?
You would love it. It sure isn't.
They make the food for the people from in Black Hawk Down.
I'm just looking through like the top 60 best shows that got canceled too early. A lot of people think Pushing Daisies got killed too soon.
That was a
They
big
never
show.
pushed the daisies, and that was something they promised from the beginning.
They're building up to that.
Chekhov's daisies.
None of these are ones I particularly care about.
I think
other than the ones that you already said, Justin, like Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, I think honestly my pick might be Freaks and Geeks, and here's my pitch for it. So it's the same cast, everyone, and they at the beginning of season 2, they just are like, oh god, it's only been a year and puberty's a bitch, and then they never ever address it again, ever. And I think it would be the funniest fucking thing ever, of just like a bunch of these nearly 50-year-old people like going through high school and just continuing the story without ever mentioning it.
And then Ben Platt's there.
And Ben Platt's also there, and he surprisingly looks like the youngest one. Oh, he actually looks the same age as all of them.
Dear Evan Hansen, what a storyline.
Yep.
They bring them back, but they're all, well, I guess there was an age difference between the Freaks and the Geeks. And they say they're all seniors, but then like only the freshmen are actual high schoolers or whatever. Like just to show like how, how like when you look back and you're like, wow, those kids look like kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something there, Judd.
You know what I would judge halfway through? Apparently the 2-part fucking Wicked movie. So
you're gonna judge it halfway through?
It sounds like you're judging it before you even see any of it.
Watch me judge it now.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It looks like it's gonna be pretty good.
It's gonna be pretty wicked.
I think it might be good, actually. I'm
sure Jonathan it's gonna be Bailey. Good, but I don't. Let's just get this over with. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
right?
You're like, let's.
We're good.
I think that's fair.
I know the song. I know the song now. I know the song because I got also on fucking TikTok the video of the Barbies singing the song. Like, oh my god, they leaked the song through the Barbie commercial. You go to fucking Mattel's website, you can play a video of the Barbie of each character, and they sing a portion of the song. Everyone's like fucking losing their mind.
The new song?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What are you talking about? I keep having to open new Chrome windows to figure out what this man is talking about.
Tabs.
Yeah. What?
Look up Ariana Grande realistic doll.
SpongeBob.
I will not be doing that.
Look.
I will simply not be doing that. But thank you so much for the suggestion.
It's on Mattel.
Barbies leaked Wicked.
But spelled with .xxx.
Mattel leaks Ariana Grande's version of Popular. Oh, okay. That's not the new song.
That's the oldest song, some would say.
Ariana Grande Wicked Dolls.
Sorry.
from Ariana Grande's TikTok.
Wicked Ariana Grande dolls, real life. Laying
The
down,
thing that is
kissing.
actually pissing me off the most about this shit is that they keep putting Cynthia Erivo in these horrible outfits. They are
Yeah, why is
dressing
she
these
green?
women in such awful ways to be like,
Mhm.
they're green and pink. It's like, yeah, we got it. Let these women wear outfits that look good on them.
Yeah, I
We
feel
understand that they are green and pink in the movie. We've got it.
No,
I
but
would
I
hope
mean,
there's more.
But like one of the, but one of them's green.
Oh, okay. Wait. Tell me the plot of Wicked.
Okay, so
Part one
Um,
only.
Yeah,
Okay.
only the first half before the curtain
Sure,
drops
sure.
dramatically.
Sure.
Everyone's
Elphaba
like, "Oh
arrives
fuck, I gotta
at
pee."
Sure. Okay. So there's this little girl named Elphaba,
Okay.
and she likes anime a lot. And so
Okay.
and so her favorite anime character is Piccolo from Dragon Ball. And so she loves him so much that she turns green, and then
Is
all
Piccolo
the
green?
Yes.
Jesus fucking
Like a pickle.
Justin,
his
I
name
don't know
is Pickle.
anything.
Oh
His name is Piccolo, like
yeah,
like the
Pinocchio.
instrument.
I've never once heard of that instrument. That's
Am I
not real.
making that up? Is that not an instrument?
Yeah, look up.
Quick,
Look
somebody
up,
else open a
look up
new
real
tab.
life Piccolo.
Look up
It's on
life-size
Mattel.
Piccolo.
It's on Mattel, and
A
Piccolo will be there,
piccolo.
and he's singing popular.
A piccolo flute. It's a little tiny flute.
Did you really not know what a piccolo was?
They made a flute tinier. Yeah, okay. Was a little flute for ants. Get real.
Get real. Be so fucking for real.
Hey, jokes.
There's no way there's a
Get
tiny
your
flute
jokes out of
called a
the
piccolo.
fucking room right now, and tell me that you're serious. Oh, look, it's my Dukapoo, and it's a small little saxophone.
I'm gonna find a recording of a piccolo and I'm gonna add it to this media file, and then I'm just gonna play it at random.
I'm trying to decide how long I want to take this bit before people
Oh, keep
Anything,
going,
anything.
really
please.
fucking really come at me for not knowing what a fucking piccolo is. All right, so the last kind of prompt that I have for this episode, taking it and flipping the shows that got canceled too early, is shows that went on for way too long, and I mean some examples of that being like Supernatural, pretty much any of the CW DC hero universe shows, Glee. I don't know if you guys saw the end of Glee, man, but holy
I didn't see the
fucking
beginning
shit.
of Glee. I didn't see
I
any.
did-
Oh,
I
I'm
did
tired.
not
Oh, I'm
watch
Tybee. I'm
any of Glee.
cool. I didn't watch when the boys and girls sang "Don't Stop Believing."
You know what a fucking
That's what you
piccolo
sound
is
like
when you
right
watch
now.
Glee?
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah. Not the idiot part.
No,
Just the
don't
other
agree
part.
to that. Don't agree. You're great. So I don't know. Fucking help me out here. What?
No, mine. I know what mine is. I didn't
I was
even.
letting you finish.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, just I mean shows like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Supernatural is a particular case because the creators had an ending, did the ending, and then the fans and studio were like, "No, it's too popular. You have to keep going." And they were like, "Okay, I guess." And then for at least 3 or 4 seasons after that, they had no idea what the fuck they were doing. But I mean, is there a show that like you felt like went on for way too fucking long and should have ended like a lot earlier, would have been stronger?
I feel like the obvious answer is. I mean, I didn't even watch it. I just know about this because my roommate in college would watch it, and I just watched the progression of him getting sick and tired of it because it just wouldn't fucking end. And that was Walking Dead.
Wasn't that still going on until like just a couple years
Bro,
ago?
maybe.
Well,
I
and
don't
now
know.
there's a new show.
Yeah.
Well, Wicked took its place on something that doesn't fucking
The Running
die.
Alive.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, my answer is kind of the opposite. I kind of wish for the last season of Game of Thrones they took some more fucking time and actually cared about the wrapping up the whole show. But they were like, no, we gotta get out of this. We can make our movie about Confederate America, which also didn't fucking happen, thank God. But that all the work, and like it just felt like it didn't matter. It just didn't matter to them.
Can I tell you guys my headcanon for why George R. R. Martin hasn't released the last 2 books yet?
Because
Sure.
he too is afraid of what he's.
What
Yeah.
if I say no?
I guess the episode's over. All right. Done here. We
Good
did
night.
it. Actually, if you just want to mute your, like, if you want to get rid
I'll
of your
mute
sound,
you
so
and
you don't
I'll
have to
talk
listen
about
to
the
it.
show that I think jumped the
Okay,
shark.
yeah, let's just do it
Perfect.
at the same time. No,
Um,
I think that George R. R. Martin hasn't released his last 2 books because the writers of Game of Thrones did exactly what he said,
Oh,
and then like everyone was like, "This sucks
fuck
so
those
much
guys.
ass."
He's like,
Fuck those
yeah.
guys. And he's like, "Yeah, oh, they did a bad job with that one." And he's like trying to scribble down a whole new fucking ending for it. He's like, he like crosses out what's west of Westeros off of like off
Yeah, exactly.
a big fucking whiteboard. All right, sorry, Tybee. What was your answer for show
Oh,
that
you're
went on
fine.
too long?
I don't know about shows that went on for too long. I do know I want to go back a little bit because a show that people keep insisting I need to not judge before it gets to season 4 is Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Every time someone tells me to watch it, I'm like, I listen, man, I'm trying, but it is, and they're like, oh, the first 3 seasons are bad. It's like, okay, then the show is bad. Like, what do you mean? But apparently, it gets great, and I can't seem to make it there.
That's a tough one. 3 seasons.
3
That's-
seasons is a lot.
That's rough.
I think
That's
that
crazy.
loops back around to what we were talking about in the beginning, which is just
Yeah.
that like how long in. I think that's a great way to kind of like sum up. How long in do you guys think it is safe to make a judgment call about a show?
If by season 2, it's like not
Like the beginning or the end
cool.
of season
Couple
2?
episodes into season 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they haven't course corrected, I think we've got
Yeah.
a problem. I think you can judge it before then, but like I like to give, if I didn't love the first season of something, like Killing Eve, the lesbians were all aflutter about Killing Eve, and I was like, well, if the queer women love the Killing Eve, I will also look at the Killing Eve. And I watched the first season and I was like, okay. And then I started season 2 and I was like, nope. And I bailed. It just isn't for me. But then you've got a show like Orphan Black, which I don't know if you guys have watched Orphan Black.
Mm-mm.
It I think went on for a little too long. I think they could have bailed sooner and like done a solid job ending the show. I think if when you are nearing the end of your series and people are dropping before they make it to the end, like you've got a problem. Like I never made it. I didn't make it to the end of Mad Men because there was a little dip, and then apparently the final season is great. But I'm like, I never made it. I'm rewatching it all right now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I think it's
want
harder
to see it.
for dramas too than comedy, because I think that like
I agree.
while you talk about things like The Office that had a pretty notable dip for like a season, I still think the last season's pretty strong. And I think that people that like drop off because of season 8 because they didn't really know where it was going after Michael leaves, like the last season I think is still a good ending to the show. And
When Michael returns, it's like so
Yeah.
heartwarming.
Yeah. And I
They were
think that there
able
were
to do
certain
something
characters that
amazing.
still needed to come around by the time that
Sure.
Michael leaves, that if they just ended it right around the time that he left, that it would have felt like incomplete.
It
you
felt
know?
weird though. It felt his return in the end of the series. It felt like they were paying him like $1 million per word, and he only had
Yeah, he
like
was there for
a
like a second.
few. It was very. It just felt weird. It was still great, but it was just like just something that felt strange for a moment. But I still enjoyed it. I stuck around for the whole series, even though yeah, I agree. Like they could not find their footing. They tried so many things. Andy was. I mean, everyone. Andy was a situation where it was like they made you hate him, but it wasn't like a gratifying. Like it wasn't fulfilling. And I think there was multiple things that just did not stick.
Well, then you've got the problem of shows that are like gonna have either a spin-off or a movie, and they botch the final season of the original flagship, which is a weird one for me. Like we're big Letterkenny fans in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And the final season, the finale of Letterkenny is weird.
Oh, I loved it.
But Shorzy's so good. You loved it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, we were really disappointed.
But that's and I think I was talking about with Josh, was that I was saying like I love Shoresy. I actually think it's a stronger show than
Me too.
Letterkenny because it has actual plot. But I think that that's like the point of the Letterkenny finale, is that like nothing really changes, and like in this small town, and things just kind of keep moving on the way that they always have.
Oh, sure. It wasn't so much a plot problem. It was like a production problem for
Oh,
me.
okay, interesting.
It just didn't feel like a satisfying episode. You know, the final season still had stuff in it that I was like, hell yeah. Yeah, the Letterkenny to Shoresy thing. Peaky Blinders, their final season is kind of strange. Because there's a movie coming out. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're kind of like ditching to do the big thing, and it's like, oh no, I still needed this version of this to be complete. And I feel like then I end up judging the whole series based on how they ended it, and I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah.
Well,
So I feel like even like on both sides, there's like
No,
a little bit
it
of
can leave a sour taste in your mouth, and that's
Yeah.
that to me is like the hardest thing with Game of Thrones, because like I
Yeah.
could go back and rewatch it, but I know what's gonna happen at the end. It's gonna fucking suck. You know,
Yeah.
it's just it's
the
unfortunate.
beginning is
Do
so
you-
strong.
Would
Yeah.
you rather? Let me ask this question. Would you rather? And we'll kind of wrap up. Would you rather a show that, let's just take anyone that like has been canceled that you wish had gone on, that you remember still fondly as this thing that like you really loved but just got cut too soon, stay that way, or that it gets a revival and it's not exactly what you wanted it to be?
Gone too soon.
Yeah,
think
I
I
think gone
agree.
too soon, because I mean when it's that strong, you can come back to it. I do that with The Office. I do that with I really do that with Arrested Development.
You either
so-
die a hero or live long enough to see
Or you have
yourself become a
15
villain.
fucking seasons,
Or you're
and
Wicked.
a crossover with Scooby-Doo.
There it is.
Um,
Good.
Or you're in a relationship with someone who looks exactly like your brother.
What?
Have you ever seen the pictures of Ethan Slater and Frankie Grande next to each other?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no! Oh geez.
We'll leave it at that. Type. Don't open that Chrome tab. We'll leave it to our
Ridiculous,
listeners
now.
to look into that one.
Well, thank you for listening to Pitched Wicked, or fucking what? Wicked this? Just I feel like this entire episode would keep coming back to fucking Wicked. Wick this.
Wait, that'd be about John Wick. Wait a minute. I have a new show
wait, hold on,
idea.
guys. Hold on, guys. Let's scrap this whole fucking thing.
Start over.
So anyway, when they
Baba
kill the
Yaga.
dog. All right, well, that's been our episode for today. Let us know your feedback. Do you agree with the shows that we brought up? Would you rather have a show that you love dearly be continued or stay the perfect little incomplete thing that it is? Let us know what your thoughts are. If you agree, disagree, we'd love to hear your take on it as well. And then we'll be back next week with a new exciting script with amazing new guests. But until then, thank you, Adam. Thank you, Tyree. This has been our first postscript episode. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. P.S. Wash your dogs
Twice a day. And go see Wicked.